Hi everybody, it's Joey Remenyi here from seekingbalance.com.au, and I'm really excited today to be sharing live with you a journey of one of our Rocksteady members, and I want to introduce you all to Jane from the UK. So welcome to the call, Jane.
Hi, thanks Joey. Hi everyone.
It's always a pleasure for me to meet people who are in my wider community, and that's one of the most exciting things about running the live group calls and having the live participation in Facebook, and then of course having people like yourself volunteer to go on video and chat and really share the journey. I'm a huge believer that stories help us heal, and not rainbows and unicorns and faking it and like, oh, I'm fine, everything's great, but real stories, like sharing the real human reflection, insight, challenge and resilience building process is actually really needed. And there's so many people out there who are sitting at home going, I hate my symptoms, I hate my life. Why won't they just fall out of the sky and disappear? And why won't miracles happen? And why is this happening to me? And why can't someone fix me? And there's this real poor me externalizing process that most people go through, to be honest. And maybe you can share some of that yourself. But it's so important that we invite people to open up to going, right, how can I heal this? How can I take control of my life, shift my neural patterning and make choices that fire neurons that actually make me feel normal, make me feel better, make me feel in control, confident, peaceful, calm, steady, and having an educated, methodical process to walk that journey. Now, what we don't know is how people's brains are going to adapt. Everyone is different. And the other things we don't know is people's mindset, people's expectations, habits, patterns. And I'd love you to share some of this yourself, Jane, but even just thinking, you know, what supports do we have locally, you know, in terms of our family, our friends, you know, all of things impact on the journey towards healing. And also the diagnosis is always going to be a very important part. And Jane's going to share a story of being diagnosed with both triple PD, persistent postural perceptual dizziness, and vestibular migraine, which is a bit of a doozy, isn't it, Jane?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So that has its own challenges, and the fact that it's not a clean, clear PPPD or a clean, clear Meniere's or a clean, clear anything. There's uncertainty, there's comorbidity, and invariably with triple PD and vestibular migraine, I haven't even met Jane yet, but it's very likely there's going to be experiences of isolation and feeling experiences of depression or anxiety, and these conditions are truly difficult to deal with. And the question is, how can we go beyond dealing it and beyond managing it and really overcoming it and healing it? And this is a part of the story that Jane wanted to put her hand up and share, because she's actually real time going through it in self-study using Rocksteady. So thank you for being so brave. We love you already just for volunteering. Do you want to share with us your story of, you know, the onset, the medical clearance process, and how you came to actually saying, I'm going to do self-study, I'm ready?
Yeah, okay. So I first started feeling it about a year ago. So I just passed my kind of anniversary. So it's kind of mid-October last year. And I kind of had a week where I just started feeling really not right and kind of had nausea, and it was just kind of a bit weird. But then it would pass and I'd be like, oh, you know, that's fine. And then sort of on the Sunday, I just remember kind of bam, and just feeling like I was on a boat all the time and, you know, really not good. I was doing some gardening and I just was like, I've just got to go and lie down. This is just awful. So I kind of went to the GP, who said, I think what they say to a lot of people, certainly in the UK, it's labyrinthitis.
Oh yeah.
It'll pass, go away, you know, rest up and yeah, wait a few weeks and you'll be fine. But you know, time passed and I wasn't fine. So I had about 6 weeks where I kind of didn't really leave the house because I just felt, you know, really sick, couldn't really walk. I mean, it was fine to walking around inside, but if I tried to go outside, I was just really really strange and kind of funny. So we kind of went through that experience, and as I wasn't getting better, eventually ended up going to ear, nose and throat, having all the tests there, having so had a hearing test. He also referred me for the kind of the vestibular test, so the VNG, I think it is, where you follow the light, the red light, and with the water in the ears where they check your balance. And then I had an MRI and it all came back kind of fine. But I was left with this sort of vague kind of, it's a vestibular thing, you know, but they didn't really pin it down kind of any further. And then I was put on a program doing some vestibular revitalization therapy that I did so this is kind of now kind of January time when I started that kind of program, doing all the kind of shaking the head and gaze stability and all that. And I basically got better at doing the exercises a bit, but it didn't really have any knock-on effect into, you know, what I could actually do in real life. So I'd be kind of, you know, standing with my eyes closed or kind of, you know, shaking my head at a kind of a gingham tablecloth with a letter on it. But I'd sort of go out into, you know, the town and still feel kind of terrible. So
just to recap, because a lot of people are going to relate to this, and I've honestly heard this story 1,000 times over. You've been proactive, you've immediately gone to get medical clearance, you've followed the GP's instruction and given yourself 6 weeks of bed rest and being gentle and healing time, which is exactly what we expect to work for labyrinthitis. But if you don't have labyrinthitis, it's not effective. You've had the MRI, you've gone through the brutality of vestibular testing and getting calorics done and testing your eyes and vibrations and loud sounds. You've had a hearing test. Everything's come up with no abnormality detected. So you're not feeling quite right, but the medical world's like, well, everything looks normal. There's no physical problem, right? And then and you've tried physical therapy, but because there's no physical problem, there's no labyrinthitis, there's no inner ear damage, the physical therapy is targeting a part of your body that's actually normal, right? And being beautiful, whole, spiritual beings, we are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual in our wholeness. And it can be, I'd love you to share with the listeners how you felt when all of your physical tests came up normal. Like, what was the feeling that dropped into your body when you got those results? So you're feeling crappy, you're spending all this time and money going through investigation processes, and it comes back, we don't know. How did that feel?
Yeah, I think it's like a double feeling. So on the one hand, you do feel relief because, you know, I didn't want to go into the MRI and find that there was something kind of really sinister in there. So you have to be grateful for that. But on the other hand, you're kind of like, but if there was a thing that we could see and touch or know, then you know, in my logical brain is like, well, then that can, you know, we can kind of, there's a plan for like how we're going to sort that. So I think after that all kind of sank in, I was a bit lost really of like, well, where do I go from here? You know, no one, you know, that kind of like nothing can really help me. And I also think in my gut, I kind of, you know, I'd read a little bit about labyrinthitis online and you know, had an information sheet from the doctor, and you know, everyone, you know, you sort of read about it on forum, people had spinning, like really quite like a dramatic onset, and I was like, that just doesn't sound like me. That's not what I've got. Like, yeah, I feel really, you know, strange, but it's not quite like that. And I had, you know, my ear felt very blocked, and you know, it was kind of, I guess it made sense that maybe there was something with the ear, but it didn't resonate. So then I kind of sort of pushed to see a neurologist, which is kind of where I was. Like, that was April this year, and went and had an hour with him, and then got the final diagnosis of vestibular migraine and PPPD, which just very much, I think, just really sat with that fit for me with what I had. But then I think even then I did, you know, like you say, the diagnosis can sometimes help and sometimes it can't. I got in a real brain spin of like, well, which one's which? And when I'm feeling like this, how do I know, you know, which one that is? And, you know, there's very much a remit where we need to treat the vestibular migraine so that you can recover from the PPPD. And get that under control. And I was like, but if I can't work out like which bit it is, and like it was just, yeah. So it's kind of helpful to know, but on the other hand, it actually resulted in quite a bit more anxiety and me kind of really overthinking.
Yeah. And can I ask a very brave question now? But how are you now at identifying with who you are as a person, as opposed to navigating these two big scary words and diagnoses? What's your relationship now to yourself that you're kind of in the rock steady process and still continuing?
Yeah, so I think on the whole now, I don't, like, I try, you know, it's very much that which is which doesn't, it's here, it's, you know, it's not, it doesn't matter, it's not going to help if I can kind of rationally work that out. So I think that helps. And also that doesn't, it doesn't define who I am. And I think, I think there was a real sense where I felt like I was losing myself, and because everybody is so lovely in my world, they ask me how I am a lot, which is lovely, but actually all it does is reinforce that's all, that's all I am. How are you feeling? How's the vestibular migraines? And I was like, ask me about, the other stuff that's me. And so it took me quite a while to kind of find like myself again and who I was. And, actually all of the things that still made me in September last year are still for me,
Can you do that now? Like, so I just want to reiterate for everyone listening, because this can be very confusing, and there's subtle philosophies that kind of we learn little by little, and you've gone through a few months of this now, and people often get very fixated on their diagnosis. But is it this? Is it this? Does your program help with this? Does it help with that? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your diagnosis is, right? What matters is you have medical clearance and you've seen a doctor, and the doctors have done everything they can to check you're safe. Aim for medical clearance, not medical diagnosis. The diagnosis can actually handicap you, especially, I've seen so many people who become their Meniere's. They're all about their Meniere's. I have Meniere's, so I can't do this. I have Meniere's, so I can't do that. Or I have migraine, I have PPPD. And so their whole languaging and their whole life evolves around their diagnosis and their symptom and their problems. But what needs to happen for healing is that you throw that out, hold that loosely, let that be 1/100,000th of who you are. It's there, don't have to ignore it, but it's one tiny piece of you. Notice in the present moment, what am I feeling? And in the present moment, you might actually be feeling calm and steady. And there will be moments, and hopefully Jane can share a few, where those moments of calm and steadiness and connection and truth and honesty and humility and vulnerability and control and confidence and capacity, we have them, and it's important we connect to those. And so rather than saying, I am my vestibular migraine, or I am my PPPD, and I'm freaking out and I don't know what the future holds, and what if, and what if, and what if, and what if, and I can't do this and I can't do that. So rather than being in the catastrophe zone, to actually drop in and go, right, I've got skills and tools. Right now I want to feel calm, steady, and centered, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to cultivate it. I'm going to go into that exercise or that resource or that tool, and I'm going to become that. And my question for you is, are you starting to notice that there's more of you? That even though you may have some boat-like feelings or some sway, are you able to dance with your body, surrender to those sensations, and actually tap into those other parts of you that are wholehearted?
Yeah, I think I'm getting there. I think it's for me, it's been not a painful process, that's the wrong way of putting it, but it's been a challenging process of learning and recognizing that I found it quite hard. And I think I go back to and that's okay, and that's fine. I've got my L plates on, and that's good. And some of it I think's fallen more easily for me, and other bits I've really had to think quite deeply about and do. And I think for me, coming through working out, it sort of, is it module 4 with the desired feelings, actually sort of sitting, working those out. I think I had a go at that, almost then got through to module 6 and then went back, because I was like, actually I haven't sort of
connected,
I think grasped it fully, or got exactly where I wanted to get to with what I was trying to feel.
Great. So
I think now that
I would love to invite you now, if you can, just close your eyes for a moment and just be with yourself. And I'm going to ask everyone listening to do the same. So if you want to hold your hands on your belly or your heart or your lap, wherever feels nice and centered for you, so you just get into your zone of control and safety, and just feel all the support around the world right now with you. And we all want you to heal. Everybody listening to this is like, we back you. We know your neural synapses want to change. And if you were a computer right now, we want to update the software. We want it to be 2018, the best ever, in control, happy, joyous, vital, energetic, healthy, courageous, balanced, adventurous. All of these things that are important to you, we want you to have them and to rewire them. So just feel into the potency of the support you have, the resources you have, and the tools you have. And notice that no one else can do it for you. It's up to you to decide, what neural synapses am I building today? What do I want to feel? Not what do I want to get rid of? Not what I don't want to feel. What do I actually desire to feel? And I want you to go into this potency of the present moment right now and clarify that for yourself, because as you move forwards, having this knowledge clarified and streamlined, it's going to help you get the best out of your future. So just breathe and feel and be patient with yourself. There's no rush. What do you desire to feel in your healed version of yourself today?
I think it's a kind of so confident and capable of things that come up, because I think they were things that I very much felt not kind of at the start, and then and also with clear-headed, I think, because I often I struggle and relaxed, just at ease, which is more than calm, just at ease with whatever that comes.
Great. So what I want you to do now is think in real time. Do you have any examples of feeling confident and capable in your recent life? And do you have any examples of feeling clear-headed for yourself? And do you have any examples of feeling truly relaxed and at ease? And if you don't worry, because you're going to build that. But can you connect with times when you've actually been able to cultivate that?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely from before the time that I was ill, I can think of some sort of memories. So I did a master's recently, sort of having gone back into in education, and like, so I kind of think about collecting the actual master's certificate for that, but also the process of writing my dissertation just required a lot of, I guess, that clear-headedness and feeling capable, and the confidence, and just the confidence and pride in myself that I felt when I collected that is just feelings that really resonate. And I think at ease, I think actually probably today I did one of the audios, the extended self-care. So I was just really tired today, so I kind of thought, what do I need? So I'm just going to go lie down, and I just went into that kind of beautiful, I was awake, but that beautiful kind of parasympathetic state for a kind of, I think I was probably there like about an hour and a half.
Amazing.
And it was just one of those beautiful things where you think, I really managed to match up what my body needed right then and done it. And I just felt completely at ease. And because sometimes when you do things like that, thoughts come in, but I felt I had a real real sense of ease and peacefulness. So
what I want you to do now is close your eyes again for a moment, and I want everybody here listening to do this with Jane. But I want you to notice that at that point in time when you noticed, right, my body is telling me something. And rather than potentially jumping into old patterns of like, I shouldn't feel this way, this is so annoying, I just want to get on with my life, I want to push through, I want to go back to work and hang out with my friends and do this and do that, and the push, ignore. Instead of doing that, you were like, what do I need? How can I support my body? I'm going to go through and use this exercise that's called expanding self-care. That feels like it resonates with where I am at the moment in my present reality. You clicked play, you surrendered to the process, you cultivated ease in your body, and you relaxed into the present moment instead of fighting it. And what I want you to do now is to also notice, in that process, was there any evidence that you had clear-headed decision-making process?
I mean, I guess I wasn't thinking too much, because I wasn't required to kind of be using the language part of my brain, I guess. But I didn't. I guess I did, because I didn't feel confused, or I suppose I didn't feel.
It sounds to me that you listened to your body and you made a very clear-headed, simple choice. And then keep focusing in. You can keep your eyes closed, because I think that helps you connect with the feeling body instead of in the logic thinking brain, which is where we get stuck, right? And notice in that process of gifting yourself the parasympathetic nervous system activation and dropping into what you really needed, did that make you feel more confident and capable within yourself, because you were like, right, feeling a bit shitty, but I actually know what to do about it. And this feels good. Like,
Yeah, and I think also I get like I don't know what it is, but I get like sometimes when I'm lying down when I'm doing that, I get like a sort of tingling in bits of my body, and I do well, I don't know what it is, but I kind of, that feels like healing to me, and so that gives me a kind of confidence that I'm that I'm doing what my body needs. So yeah,
absolutely. I like that. Arguably, that's more neural synapses actually connecting, and every tingling you feel, it's more of your body connecting. Because when we're in that vertigo or tinnitus or panic mode or catastrophe mode, which all the listeners here will resonate with, honestly, that's when we leave our body, right? We abandon our body because we're like, I hate this. I don't like what it feels like. This is not safe. I'm out of here. And we actually disconnect. We dissociate. We leave. And part of healing is we have to be able to drop back in and actually learn to feel, and like feel the skin, feel the chair, feel the bed, feel the pillow, feel the clothes, feel the breath, like get back into the body in the most simple way, so that then the body and the mind can work as a team and we can stop abandoning each other. And the body's like, well, this is what I need and what I'm screaming for. And the mind's like, no, you're annoying. You've let me down. You're a failure. I'm just going to push on through and pretend everything's okay. And there's this total disconnection. So what I want you to start to notice is you have this wholehearted self. And actually your sensations in your body are a part of your perfect wholehearted self. So anytime you feel fatigue, listen to that wisdom. Gift your body support to nurture it through that sensation of fatigue and allow the energy and vitality and health to return. Invite it in. Cultivate it. Anytime you feel a sensation of disequilibrium, ask yourself, what in my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, is out of balance? Why am I feeling this disequilibrium? What message is in this that's helping me align to my truth? And use that to make confident, capable, clear-headed decisions that feel at ease. And what I want you to do right now is to notice the maturity in your Rocksteady practice right now compared to when you first began dabbling with module 1, 2, 3, and it's all like, oh, get rid of symptoms and I need solutions and blah, blah, blah. And our headspace isn't ready yet, right? We can't go deep enough to drop into the heart and really align. And so as you just connect into the real feeling of this, what wisdom and messages and support or encouragement could you offer listeners out there who are feeling impatient, feeling like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere? Help them understand that transition between doing Rocksteady and really becoming Rocksteady, because there is a difference.
Yeah. I think for me, it does go back to that idea of doing what your body says that it needs. And I think I really, the audio about the opening up and listening within, is that the right one? That was actually transformational for me, I think, when I found it, and the bonus audios, because I think it enabled me to begin to sort of find, rather than kind of like, well, I'm doing module 1 and I'm doing the things from that because that's what I'm supposed to do these couple of weeks. It was about me kind of realizing actually it's about choosing what my body needs. And I think I don't know, I feel like I am guided quite a lot to the thing that I need to do. Like I'm quite, I sometimes think I just sit and think, what is it that I need, and go to it. And I often, and that's the thing that hear the message that I need to hear, or the activity I need.
I love that. And I often even say to my beautiful balance clients, I really believe in divine timing. People come to what they need at the time they're ready to hear it. And I've had a bunch of private clients who have gone through the Rocksteady process, gone through it all the way again, and every time they go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into their wholeness, their healing, and their happiness. Yeah. And it's this process where and sometimes they'll say to me, gosh, the first time I listened to this audio lesson or this recording or this group call or whatever, they're like, I heard it with different ears. Like I took the whole message was completely different. And then when I went back and listened to it again, I was a different person and I was hearing it with different ears and I was taking it in a different way. And so it's like this idea that we only hear what we're ready to hear. And I often say the same thing. It's like, go through the program and let it jump out at you. because there's so much there, and you could spend 2 to 3 months on each module easily. I mean, it's very dense. And it's not all about physical exercises, and people who focus only on physical exercises really don't get the best results.
I haven't done any, actually, I think. And it was, I think, and that was something because I'd already done the VRT, and I just, you know, saw all the other stuff, and I was like, that's what I need. I don't need all this other stuff. And then I think, like a few months, like a month or so later, I think you did there was another interview with somebody or an audio where you said PPPD, don't do exercises, and I kind of, and it was quite nice to sort of have that, like, to be reaffirmed in that way, that I listened to my body, and because that's what I thought I needed, but actually, you know, it was so I do the body scan, but I don't do anything else.
Yeah, and the truth is, and this is really important for people listening, if you can take a staircase, if you can do housework, if you can go to the supermarket, if you can get your mail, if you can walk the dog, like if you can do basic things in daily life, you don't need vestibular exercises. The only time we need them is if we actually can't put on our shoes, we can't unload the dishwasher, we can't turn our head, you know. There's a 6-week period, as your GP correctly told you, where we expect the retraining of those vestibular and spinal reflex muscles and neural pathways to rehabituate and readapt and compensate. And beyond that 6-week process, once people are out and about and walking and talking and staircasing and dressing and houseworking, they really don't need the physical stuff for those reasons. I encourage people to go back through the physical exercises, and this will be something I'll encourage you to do. Go back through them not with the purpose of overcoming dizziness. Go back through them with the purpose of cultivating confidence in your body regardless of the physical posture you're in. Go back with the idea of cultivating relaxation, ease, and clear-headedness. I mean, the releasing neck tension audio from Module 1 really is essential. That's something we all need to come back to, I think, always, because we do hold tension in the body, and we have to learn to identify it and release it from within. And think of it as an internal massage. Instead of relying on others to release our tension, we learn how to be patient with ourselves. So the physical exercises are actually incredibly important for tinnitus people, and they have no dizziness. They have to reconnect back into their body. Why? Because they've abandoned it. So the physical exercises do have a place, but I think you're spot on that PPPD people often overly focus on them, overly burn out, deplete their confidence. It's not what they need. They need the mental, emotional, spiritual stuff first. That's the heart of the healing.
Yeah.
Do you have any light bulb moments that you want to share with people where you just started to think like, oh my God, I'm getting this? Because you have made a significant improvement. So you can be very proud of yourself. And has there been any moments where that's been kind of like, oh, it's slowly but surely it's working?
Yeah, I think there's a few. So there's one, I remember listening to one of the group calls that's on there. I can't remember if it's number 3, I think. Number 3 is like, I think my fave with all it's so rich, and I've gone back to it a lot. But there was something on there where you're talking to somebody about being in the present moment. And the first time I listened to it, I remember, and I think you were really talking about not being in the future, but you mentioned something about the past, and it just really landed with me that I think I'd been grieving my past as though I'd lost it and it had never happened, which of course isn't true, but I think the reality of me is like, well, I'm like this now and I've lost all of that. And for me that was just a really like a releasing moment of just I don't need to be sad for all of that made me, all those experiences made me who I am today. That hasn't been undone. And like, you know, yeah, and just to me I was just like, oh, and it was just really beautiful because it was like I just let that go without any effort. I didn't have to, there was no sort of process. It was just like a light bulb came on. I was like, oh, okay, that's great. I don't need to carry that anymore.
And how did that feel, that effortless surrender of letting that old grief go? How did that feel afterwards?
It just felt like kind of like a lightness that I think also just it's like a freedom, I think, as well, of just feeling, like I'd really let something go that I wasn't carrying around anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was sort of weighing me down and tiring me, actually, because I was putting so much energy into this sort of grief of something that actually I hadn't lost at all. Yeah,
and you know, for people who are out there dealing with fatigue, I guarantee you're holding on to emotional baggage and beliefs that are draining you. And I love how Jane just shared, when we release them, it can be effortless because we're ready. And there's that alignment to our truth where we're like, oh, I'm not that person anymore and I don't need to be. I mean, even when we're healthy and alive and well and, you know, there's nothing to complain about too much in life and life's good, even in those circumstances, our body is replenishing and replacing itself every day. Like our cellular system, our plasma, our skin, our tissues, like things are actually dying and rebirthing within us all the time. I'm not the woman I was yesterday. But the woman I was yesterday has made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And so arguably, yes, we can grieve what we no longer are. And that's fine and healthy and perfect, right? But then that has to come to a point where we're like, oh my goodness, I'm not that woman I was anymore. But now I'm this. Like, celebrate. And to come into that place of presence and really standing in, reclaiming, taking back control and saying, this is who I am. This is how I feel. This is what I want. This is what I desire. And this is what I can do. To really reclaim that sense of presence instead of what if future and why in the past.
Yeah.
Both of those inhibit neuroplasticity. Synapses change in the present moment. So if people are not trained and coached and guided and mentored into how to cultivate presence, they're stuck for life with their symptoms. Like nothing's going to change. So congratulations on being where you are and cultivating your confidence, capability, clear-headed, relaxation and ease. And I really hope as you go back through Rocksteady and continue this journey, some people go through Rocksteady weekly, excuse me, others each 2 weeks, excuse me, which is what I recommend because the modules are incredibly dense. And I think slow and steady forces us to go in that little bit deeper and connect with the heart instead of being logic land and check boxing and got to do this and got to do that.
Which is I'm completely like, I actually used the parasympathetic exercise from the recent live group call. I did it with my logic brain because I just had to say, like, you've really stepped up because I needed you to kind of fight for myself and take me to the neurologist and, you know, that's great, but seriously, I really need you to kind of go back down now because it's actually, I really just felt it was inhibiting me because it sees me still being ill as a continual kind of thing that it needs to fix. I was like, that's not helping.
It's like a project it wants to solve, and essentially you're saying to it, this project is complete. I'm now working on cultivating my desires and my health and my confidence. I'm no longer trying to solve a problem. Yeah. Like, case closed.
And it's really helped actually, like since I did that, it was last week, I think. It's just, that's like another step, you know, to sort of on the journey.
Amazing. Well, are you hoping to go back to work? You said you finished your master's.
Yeah, so I work. I had some time off when I was first ill, and my work had been amazing and let me do very kind of part-time hours. So I'm now, and then since September I've changed, so I now work 2.5 days a week, but across 5 days, so that I can factor in resting and doing what I need to do. So amazing. That's my plan, to try and keep doing that and just weighing up. And I think, so if we've got time, the other thing was actually at that point in the modules was when I was having to decide how many hours I was going to do in July for September. And I'd got in my head I wanted to do 3.5 or 3 because because I thought I would have made more progress by then. I thought I would be better. And just all of the stuff, I can't remember where I was in the modules, but I was just listening to so much stuff about what does your body need. And I was just, you know, and I just was, it just really empowered me to say, I can't do that, and that's okay. The amount I think I can do and what my body needs is more like 2 or 2.5 days, and it kind of just really gave me the confidence to kind of not do what maybe my employer was expecting or do what I thought I should do, but actually do the right amount. And I think that that was really good.
And believe me, you are going to feel the benefits of slowly and steadily trusting your body. Because if you were to do that 3 days a week or 3.5 or 4 days a week, or heaven, go for the full 5 days, you're likely to lead back into burnout and nervous breakdown and lose all of that faith and trust in yourself again and, you know, get back into that black pit of despair. So it's so important that we honor and trust the present information our body's giving us, rather than going, well, someone else said I should do this, so therefore I'm going to ignore what I feel and I'm just going to do what I think I should do because other people are telling me how to live my life. Like, it doesn't work like that. So congratulations for honoring yourself, and I really hope you reap the benefits. And I feel that as you deepen your rock steady journey as you go back through another time. And you can really never stop learning. The process is all about going and listening to the body. And on that note, I've had, physiotherapists, psychologists, yoga teachers, Tai Chi teachers, Qigong teachers, spiritual healers, psychic mediums. I've had all these people say to me, can I get anything out of rock steady because, I'm a professional. I've got this training. Like, is this going to help? And I'm like, of course, because it's about listening to your body. It's not about books and training and protocols and regimes and agendas and rituals, right? They're all external. It really doesn't matter where you are in your life or how many degrees you have. The process of rock steady is about inquiry, insight, and listening. And the more we go through it, the more we hear, the more we receive, the more we grow. And so I just think it's really beautiful that you've been able to share with us. I feel like this is your pit stop. Yeah. And you're slowly but surely rewiring your system. And I really hope you reach a point where you no longer even have VM and PPPD. You outgrow it.
That would be great. But yeah, it's just trying to find that peace with where I am today, and that's my work in progress and doing. But I feel like I'm further there than I was. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see already. Yeah. So this has been a really lovely sharing of the rock steady process, and thank you so much for your honesty and letting us be your pit stop and letting us support you. If there's ever any doubt in your mind that you can't overcome this and you feel like you've got to deal with it or live with it, tap that out. Like, honestly, open up the door to truly healing. And little by little, and it can take years, it's not always a quick fix, but always open up the door to letting it go. In that effortless way that you let go of that grief of the past, like let go of the diagnosis and the symptoms, as I've seen many of my clients do. Allow yourself to really step fully into your power of being Jane, wholeheartedly, just as you are, perfectly imperfect in life. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know I'm going to get emails of people saying, how's Jane going? I want to hear from Jane. So, it would be great if you could keep us posted. You're part of the Facebook group and the live calls. We'd love to keep hearing how your insights are dropping and dropping deeper and deeper.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, that's
great. Thank you for being so brave today. I'm Joey Remenyi from seekingbalance.com.au. If anybody out there listening wants to go through this process that Jane has been sharing, it's the Rock Steady self-study program. You do it at home. It's in-home therapy. It's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and it gives you an education and a methodical process to learn how to rewire your own neurology so that you can feel the way you want to feel. It's not rocket science. It's not a miracle. It's not a magic pill. It's not a device. It's an education resource. If you feel ready to use it and you're resonating with what Jane's gone through, go to seekingbalance.com.au. You can book an initial consultation with me if you'd like to work with me in private therapy. Or like Jane, you might decide, I want to do this from home. I want to do it myself, and I've got this. Go the self-study process. Rock Steady is irreplaceable. And there really is no substitute, no generic program or external therapy replace talking to your body and listening to your body like Jane's discussed. So what a gift. Thanks again, Jane.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.
And so bye for now.
Bye.